Forth shall one go, nor stay as a guest in a single spot forever. Love becomes loathing if long one sits by the hearth in another's home.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy, and welcome back to turn 35 of Aries, where we are playing the Well of Urd, God of Utgard. Let's go ahead and jump into the turn. So, we've got a messenger from Atlantis. If you can send me some water gems, I'd like 20, but if you can't spare any, then 15, and I can make you a Robe of the Sea. Also, I could be mistaken, but it looks like Gath might be vulnerable to foul vapor stuff. We've thought about foul vapors before. The issue is especially at this point, right? But even previously, we never got to the point to where we could really empower someone, and or have the right gems to empower, right? Like we would need to. We had a good amount of nature gems, but I don't think we ever had the 50 we would need to empower a Scrotty. And then after empowering that Scrotty, we'd still have to get him nature boosters, right? We'd either have to empower him again, or we'd have to get a Thistle Mace and like a Moonvine bracelet. Wait, is that Astral? Or we'd have to get two boosters in some way, shape, form, or fashion to get him up to the. I think because Foul Vapors isn't Foul Vapors. We'll check here in a second, but basically that was going to be a complicated route, and we just didn't have the gems for it. And then the flip side is doing that to like a Norn, right? A Norna, boosting in water. But again, we didn't have the water gems to boost. So Foul Vapors, we've thought about it, it just hasn't been on the menu. Unfortunately. So. But the flip side of that is yes, Foul Vapors would probably be pretty good against him, but I'm not resistant to Foul Vapors, right? And the undead are, sure, but I don't have a very good base of undead that I could throw at him and expect to hold long enough for Foul Vapors to really do its shtick, right? It's just it, and he actually has he has poison 15 on his blessing, right? So Foul Vapors would work against portions of his army, but not against any of his sacreds. So it's just this mix of like Foul Vapors could be a useful tool. It just isn't with what I have available, basically. So that's that scenario. We completed Thaumaturgy 4. We're on our way to Thaumaturgy 5. Hopefully, in doing this, we are going to reach that point to where panic will not be it won't look like such a good option to the AI, right? If the AI has maybe options like Paralyze or Soul Slay, maybe the AI won't think that panic is a good option. So let's take a look at a couple things. We've got a couple battles. We're not going to watch any of these because none of them are real battles. So he has moved a force of 432 units onto Defaros. Holy shit! So he basically brought all of the forces together that he had that had been thrown off of Defaros, and he brought a good portion of his Utgard units down into Defaros, I think, as well. And he's also still reinforcing from his Heartland, right? And this is so aggravating, right? Because again, this goes back to concept of like I have tried to get my neighbors on board with this over and over and over and over again. Gath is pouring his forces into me. Has been pouring his forces into me. He has, through scouting, I can see he has little residual like armies in other locations, but they're tiny compared to what he is throwing at me, and no one's doing anything, right? No one is taking advantage of any of it. Batty and Atlantis are fighting each other, which it happens, right? Sometimes you get in a war you can't get out of. Arithia's not doing anything about it. As far as I'm aware, Lemuria, because again, reached out to both of them. Lemuria and Midgard are both crickets on the whole scenario. I think they're still locked in a never-ending war with each other, right? And Ulm obviously is working with Gath to try to survive. But it's bonkers to me that other players are going to allow Gath. Well, I say that, right? Because that's the scenario of early on in the game, right? I let Midgard attack Lemuria without doing anything about it, right? Well, what I did about it was attack Ulm, right? Because my assumption was it's better for me to just try to get bigger than it is for me to get into a war that I might get stomped in, right? But that's not what's happening here, right? Gath is already big. It's not. Oh, I was ignoring the big Midgard. Midgard was just what Midgard was, right? He was still trying to get Lemuria's lands. But now, Gath is huge. Gath is immense. And if people don't do something about this, he's going to win. Like, in maybe not the near future, but near-ish future. And we're gonna talk, because this turn's going to be super short anyways, if I just rush through it. We're going to talk about a couple of reasons why this is an issue, okay? Aside from it being an issue because he's killing me, because that's the obvious thing. Right. Okay, so we have a battle here in Nirn where we just moved in and took it. There wasn't enough PD to trigger any gem usage or anything like that, so no big deal. Ulm pinged Ulm. Not gonna happen. We took Remire, easy peasy. We took Troll Woods, easy peasy. We had an unexpected event in Troll Woods where the unrest has dropped. That's nice. We are under siege in Waywoods, Defaros, and Copper Woods. We're repairing in Copper Woods, but in Waywoods and Defaros, we're pretty meh. So, let's actually take a look at those real quick. Fortification here went from 1,000 to 96 in a single turn. That's what happens when you have 432 units, and most of them are giants of some sort. The sieges go really, really fast. This is a pretty scary army, by the way. Let's actually jump into this battle real quick and take a look. We're doing most of the same things that we have been doing. Body, ethereal, wooden warriors. But now he's actually included some Kohins back here, right? That have earth power and... earth magic, earth paths, and he's summoning earth power, and now he's doing legions of steel, right? So that's pretty cool. So now not only do we have to contend with wooden warriors, we also have to contend with legions of steel. If that overlaps, right? Like if he starts hitting gibbers with wooden warriors and legions of steel, because gibbers have natural protection too. But they are fully kitted out in armor, right? They have armor, a headpiece, and a shield, right? So Legions of Steel will super buff them. And that potentially is crazy. Like, that's super potential scary. Accepting the scenario for me being that I'm still giants too, right? So my giants still hit really, really hard. So protection is less of a concern. It's still a concern, but the main issue is and has always been the body ethereal spam. So, but that seems to be the only real thing that's being added here. I am a little suspicious though, because there's this fire Kohen over here. I don't know if he's here for any real reason other than to be a secondary blessing caster, maybe? I don't know. Are they doing Divine Blessing? They're not doing Divine Blessing. That seems odd that they're not doing Divine Blessing. Because he's got a lot of gibbers. Are they all getting hit? It's like most of them are hit, yeah. Did he Divine Blessing? Maybe he has a prophet here that I didn't see the divine blessing from. Regardless, very big, very scary army, but actually not doing a lot more, a lot different of what he already has been doing. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, so Defaris is going to get popped next turn. Up here in Waywoods, Waywoods is still at 279. Waywoods might get popped next turn, it might not. Either way, there's not really anything we can do about it. We're just going to continue researching up here until we can't anymore. That's the end of the world. What are we doing in Ulm? We are moving our Nern forces down into Ulm. We're actually going to move Jarl 2 and Jarl 3 as a move and patrol. Everyone else is just kind of moving in, right? This is just in case Ulm tries to get tricky and ping me. He did hit this turn, right? And he sees that there's not very much province defense here. So maybe he's got his stealthy parties over here, so he might just be like, oh, I can get Ulm. Okay, well, we're not dealing with that. So move and patrol. I can't have lack of access to Ulm because of Ulm itself, right? If Gath marches a massive army over here, that's one thing, but Ulm, nah, fuck off. So what are we doing? Well, we're hitting Greendale and we're hitting the Whispering Waste. We're hitting these two specifically because we can get back to Ulm faster than this army, or on the same turn, basically, which means faster than this army can. Otherwise, we would not be roving out. But we need to try to kind of like supplement our income losses where we can, so that we don't start losing people. That's going to be a very important thing. What else are we doing? We're spending all of our freaking money building a temple, because we've got to be really careful to not get Dom killed, because that's going to happen probably pretty soon. If we can't get a temple up here and get our dominion up, we're preaching with Big Goad still. We're going to be preaching with Balder once we get in here. We're going to do everything that we can to get some dominion going in Ulm, and fingers crossed, right? As we gotta. Once we get the Nern forces, the Defaros forces in there, we're probably going to sack a lot of these nature gems to try to get Vile and Andre some Rings of Regeneration. And then we're going to, I don't know, we're going to hole up in Ulm and we're going to try to maybe conquer Mighty Pillars. It depends on what Gath is going to do. But we might only have a few turns before our last real big hurrah. So we're going to try to get to Thaumaturgy 5, and then we're just going to start rushing up Alteration. Because I think the next big thing that honestly is potentially useful for us is probably going to be Mass Protection. I don't think we're going to make it to Mass Protection. That's a very long way away. But Mass Protection would give us some pretty good options. It also gives us Doom, which curses them, and gives us Battle Fortune, which gives us luck, basically. So that's also pretty useful. That's really all we have. I don't know. Like, we're basically relying on the concept of this mass communion being able to carry us. I don't know that it actually can anymore. Another thing that getting up to Alteration 7 does is it does put us in range for some crazy, like, high alteration things. Will of the Fates is luck for everybody on your side, I believe. Time Stop is just kind of weird stuff. I've actually never used Time Stop in really effective scenarios. I guess I've seen it used, though. Disintegrate is fantastic. It is a short-ranged Soul Slay, basically, but for death mages. But we already have Soul Slay, so this probably isn't going to be super useful for us. So like 8 and 9 is unrealistic. 7 is probably unrealistic, but we really don't have other crazy options, so that's probably where we're going to go. So we'll see how it goes. Mass Protection and Creeping Doom will be very useful to us. Okay, that's the plan. And that's it. Like, I got nothing else. I got nada else for this turn. That's not true. I got a message that I'm going to send to Atlantis. Don't worry about me. Okay. So, here is the message. It's kind of a big one, but it's because he actually proposed something, so I'm kind of just talking through it. I've only got 6 water gems at the moment, but they are yours. Don't worry about sending me a Robe of the Seas. I just don't think a Robe of the Seas is going to do anything for me, honestly. And I don't want him wasting his stuff on something that is not going to be super useful for me in the long run. Right? Like, it would be super useful for me in the long run, but it's not gonna help me beat Gath, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I had thought about Foul Vapors before, but unfortunately haven't been successful in getting enough water or nature to empower anyone. Also, Gath has Poison 15 on his Bless, so through a combination of not being able to and it only being effective against his non-sacreds, I haven't gone that route yet. I've successfully fled my lands, though, and am now residing in the former Olmish capital. Here's Gath's Bless, by the way. That's Bless with 1S, if you don't already have it. And then I'm just giving you the Bless information. And that's it. So we will send our normal text message to everyone with the I don't even know anymore because it's turn 35 and the Well of Urd has not shown up yet. So I don't. It'll get there eventually. Whatever. Oh, and I need to actually send magic gems to Atlantis, water, 6. Okay, fantastic. So that's what we're doing. You know, that was a pretty simple term. We're also blood hunting in Vile, or blood hunting with Vile, trying to acquire more blood slaves. If we're able to hold up here in Ulm for a while, right? Then we might, like if Gath doesn't go on a genocidal extermination run and chase me to the ends of the earth, we might actually start running down blood here in the near future. But we will have to see. Okay, that is it for the turn. I will check you all next time. Peace. Oh, hold up. I wanted to talk and I should have spent more time talking about this and less time jacking jaw about other stuff. But the whole Gath being an issue right now. So he's already got 2 thrones, right? He's got the throne of Gaia, okay? And he's got the golden throne. These are crazy, by the way. Really crazy. But so he's got throne A and throne B. Throne C is right here, right? Throne D is right here. And then he has a couple of different options. He's got a throne here. He's got a throne here. If the world doesn't respond to anything and he comes over here and he takes Behemoth's Rest, he's gonna be very, very capable of doing a throne rush, right? And with an army like this, it's gonna be hard for people to do much against it. Something like Foul Vapors might help, right? But he's got so much going on right now. Uh, I don't know. I think that I might have to spend my last couple turns just trying to rally the world against Gath. One, because I don't really have much else to do, but two, because if they don't do something quickly, or if they don't at least like make sure he doesn't continue to expand. It's one thing if he just eats me and then stops, right? But if he continues to expand, then this is going to be a real bad issue. And I'm not sure that the fractured lands of the rest of the world are going to be able to respond in time. So, fingers crossed, we'll see how things go. I will see you all next time. Peace.